Welcome back to the channel. I'm JT.
And I'm Anna, and we're the Poko Moonshine family.
And today we're going to talk about how we went from Carbivores to Carnivores and how we took that leap together.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give my buddy Carrie from Homestead How credit. I learned about Carnivore through him, having subscribed to his channel, seeing it pop up, his story. And I went in with just no hesitation. I saw him. I was like, all right, all you have to do is eat meat. I couldn't believe that. I was just like, I'm still shocked. I get to eat bacon and eggs and stuff like that. So I jumped in full force, as my wife would say, full force.
Full force.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like I cannonballed right in the carnivore pool, just splashed everybody. And I've been enjoying it ever since, honestly, though. The weight loss is all fun and stuff, but you know, it's great buying new clothes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the healing, like, I was always laying in that tub. I had no energy before Carnivore. It was just, it sucked, man. Like, life sucked before Carnivore. So, like, I don't care if I never lose another pound again. Like,
at least
I would stay on this diet just because
in the tub anymore.
I'm not in the tub. I'm not throwing up my meals.
Yeah, that was hard too. Like, we would go out to restaurants and then he would get sick on the way home. I remember that. But it's almost like it's kind of fading, so.
I would have her pull over the car so I could open the door and just vomit on the side of the road. It was that bad on the way home. Like, I just couldn't wait.
Well, that's no way to live. You can't eat. You don't feel like you can eat. And then you don't feel good all the time. And you just can't function as a person, you know?
Yeah, and I was paranoid. I was like, where's the bathroom at? Like,
just so you know where to go.
A bathroom nearby.
Yeah.
So I had terrible IBS. And that totally healed in the first 30 days.
When you went to, like, a doctor, I know you saw several doctors about it. What did they tell you? I'm interested.
None of them. Even your doctor. You sent me to your doctor. All the doctors I saw, even when I was in my music group, I've had IBS problems since I was doing music. And every time you test for IBS, there's nothing that shows up on a test that says, "Oh, this is wrong."
Just all physical symptoms, right?
No, there's no physical symptoms it shows, but as far as like on tests, you know, but you feel like you're. That's why I was like, you know what? There's no, and not one of them said, "Hey, what's your nutrition? What are you eating?" And now we all know, watching this, that it's what you're eating. But at that time, I didn't know, and they're all like, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." I'm like, "No, I'm not, dude. Like, I don't feel fine. Like, I'm not okay. Like, I don't feel good." But I couldn't get that through to any doctors, and I ended up taking like those Fiber One
supplements. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Probiotics 4-in-1, you know, for like constipation, diarrhea, pain, gut pain, all that stuff. And that did help, but it wasn't a true medicine. It was just like a Band-Aid so I could keep eating the junk that I was eating.
Right.
Now on Carnivore, I feel like all that steak, all the beef and stuff, all that butter and eggs, like, it's all went into my body and gave it what it needed to heal properly, to get the proper microbes in my gut, whatever they are. And now everything's level. Like, I don't have any gut issues. I don't feel my gut or my stomach at all.
No.
That's
great.
I don't have any of those.
Really should. That's how it should be, because you shouldn't have to think, "Oh, is this going to hurt my stomach?" You know, you should just be able to live life, do what you need to do, you know?
Yeah, that's the way it should be. So that's kind of what brought me to Carnivore. I was just down and out, so I jumped on it, and I did that for like 27 days, was it?
Yeah, it was about that before
you were like
26 or 27, I think.
She wouldn't try it though at first.
No, I said I literally said I couldn't give up the carbs. I shouldn't say couldn't. I wouldn't give up the carbs. And I had been eating what I thought was a better diet. I don't really have a name for it. I just cut out more sugar, but not entirely. And I didn't really work to cut out carbs.
Well, that's how I lost a little bit of my weight from
not drinking soda.
From being up to 254, 258, somewhere around there, almost 260. I cut back on the soda and the beer. Yeah. And I maybe lost 20, 30 pounds doing that, but then I was still feeling like crap, and I was still super overweight, and had to go carnivore.
You don't realize how many calories you get when you drink things. I think people don't realize that adds up, and I think that's what makes it worse a lot of times, is if you're drinking a lot of the sugary sodas or the sugary coffees and all of that stuff. I used to get Starbucks a lot, and I stopped doing that too, partially for expenses, but now it's completely, I don't go to Starbucks anymore and things like that, just because it's a waste of money. It's not good for you.
Waste of time, money, and it's not good for your health in the long run.
Right. And so, I waited 26 days, and then I was working
out. 27.
26 or 27, okay, I don't remember. But I did work out a ton before, but I was on the weight loss medication, I think, at that time. I can't remember when I started that, but I even stalled there, and I know stalls are normal, but I feel like at that point it had been a while since I dropped anything, and so I was like, you know what? Basically, F it. We're gonna do what JT's doing. He looks great. He's not feeling like crap. I said, at that point, why not? I think a lot of people have to hit rock bottom, which I kind of hit rock bottom a little bit before, but I didn't realize that I still had a lot of issues with food. I had to cut out a lot, but I think my lowest point before that was right after William was born, and I was my heaviest. I was at 333 pounds. And so I did lose a little bit of weight before starting carnivore, but then really starting carnivore on day 26 or 27. That's really what projected me into my body that I'm at now. It took, I can't remember how many months I'm in, but it's going to be coming up, I think, a year in July. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I started dropping weight like crazy. And I know some people will say it's water weight. It's still weight. I'm sorry, but it's still weight.
July 15th. I was just trying to think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and water weight, it's still weight.
Yeah, and I feel like when people say that, it's almost like, well, you didn't really lose weight. Like, don't say that to people. I'm sorry, but don't say that to people.
They're just trying to downplay the number a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's cool, but that's not all like real weight.
Well, then I would have gained some back, I wouldn't have kept going. I think if that logic worked, But yeah, I jumped pretty much full in there. Maybe not quite.
We didn't do much research when we started.
No.
We didn't watch a bunch of Dr. Barry and Chafee. We are now. Like, she listens to Dr. Chafee and Barry all the time.
Yeah.
And Kilts.
Yep. Because I have a little bit of a drive to and from work, and so I put it on in the car. I don't watch it, but I just put it on. I listen to it, and
it's the best way to learn.
Right, and then
why not learn when you're just driving?
Too, you wanna be able to control your thoughts, And if I'm surrounded by people talking about the carnivore diet and doing the carnivore diet, I think it helps put my head in the right space for the day. So in a way, it's kind of a meditation for me, I guess. But yeah, no, and I love hearing other success stories and everything. But yeah, for me, I would say the biggest change, especially within that first month, is I started sleeping better. And I also just had more energy, like a ton of energy. You could get that renewed sense of self, I feel like, when in that first 30 days. Because you're just healing.
Jen's hitting that now.
Oh my goodness, yes.
You can just see it on her. Like she's
got such a positive view.
Yeah.
There's something about it. And we used to argue a ton.
We did.
I feel like we had not all the time. I make it sound like it's all the time. But we had many arguments where it wasn't really worth it. You know, it's not worth fighting with the person who's your best friend, who's going to be there for the rest of your life.
I think some of that was like brain fog and like inflammation in the body where you don't feel good. You're just, your body's aching, your back hurts, and then you're just kind of less patient.
Right. And so when you're tired, when you don't feel good, obviously your fuse is going to be a little lower, but we haven't had an argument for as long as I can remember now. Like, you just get a more positive mindset. And I think that's what's amazing. You know, the weight loss is great, and I went into it for weight loss. But I didn't realize how much the carnivore was going to influence my life. I think Jen and Carrie said that they used to have silly arguments too in one of their more recent videos, and I would agree with that. You know, when you're sick, when you're not feeling good, it doesn't go well. So I think carnivore also helps your relationships in different ways. So if you're starting this diet, just realize that you're going to experience a lot of positive things going into it, and as you keep sticking to it. So I did experience some plateaus. So I want to give people a heads up that that's normal. That's a normal part of weight loss. Your body's trying to fight the process, you know, and you have to give it time to adjust. I've had 2 plateaus, and both of them took a little over a month. So it takes time. But yeah, I think that summarizes how I got into carnivore too after seeing you do it.
Yeah, and as far as like other couples watching this, or that whether they're both doing carnivore or one's doing carnivore and one's not, I can say just from experience, I think it's easier when both of us
100%
do carnivore, especially for our son, our child, the children in the house. I think it's a lot easier when both parents are doing carnivore. But at that same time, she didn't want to do carnivore at first. I still said, well, I'm doing carnivore.
Right.
And that's that. And she supported that. And I supported her not doing it.
Yeah.
And now, just like I support her doing it. So if you guys are watching this right now, like, just see where each other are coming from and support each other. And then maybe try it together if you can, because it goes a lot easier, especially dinner.
Yeah.
When you're not just like, well, I'm not eating that. There's no arguments about who's eating what.
Right.
And then dinner's a lot quicker now too.
Yep. And we eat the same thing, you know? It is easier. And you know what? Preparing carnivore is a lot faster than preparing this American Standard Diet. It really is. You know, I made so many recipes on the American Standard Diet. I don't know.
Standard American Diet.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't realize I was doing that. The Standard American Diet. Okay, I got it now. See, that's how departed we are, or at least I am, from the diet. But yeah, I think I made a lot of recipes.
We don't remember our ex's name anymore. We're so divorced from that.
Yeah. But we would make recipes, and it would take hours. You know, it's and then you have to get all these ingredients, and it's just excessive. You know, and now we have less dishes, we have less food going to waste, and we have more time. I also don't eat as many meals. I usually do 1 meal a day, especially during the week. But, you know, sometimes on the weekends I have 2, or other days I might have 2, depending on my hunger level. So, yeah, you don't eat as much. That helps with your grocery bill. So I think it's helped a lot with that too.
Yeah, I do. I feel like it, when you start clearing out your body from all these chemicals and things, that brain fog, when it goes away, helps you bond with your partner a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the brain fog is a barrier from bonding with your family, like your spouse, your kids, your own parents, you know, which would be their grandparents. Maybe you get annoyed if you got too much brain fog. And then it's a barrier even between your own happiness, you know. Like Carrie was talking about in a video, I've had that same thing where you're at a family party and you're just not excited to see everybody smiling in your face because you don't feel good.
Right.
And it's nothing against them, but like when you have that brain fog and all that body pain and like irritability, you're not at your best form.
No.
And
we were both a little bit depressed.
well, yeah.
I think at the time I was, when I noticed it, especially, and JT had brought it up too. And this was before we were both on carnivore, but like when William was really young within that first year, you don't sleep very well. I think it compounded, just having a baby. Some women have postpartum depression. I never got diagnosed with it, but I did have some pretty lows during that time. I didn't have the greatest thoughts. And I know, JT, for you, that sitting in the tub all the time had a similar effect to you too. Because, there's some nights even that you were up in the tub all night, and that's what I mean. Like, carnivore heals more than just your body. It heals your mind.
Yeah, I thought I was going to die in that tub. I was having nightmares and all these depressing thoughts.
And that's what I mean. Like, you almost have to hit your lowest for many people. I hear many people talk about this, like your lowest point, and that's different for everybody. But I, at my highest weight, thought I was going to end up continuing to go and, continue to gain weight, get above 400 pounds, things like that. And
but then, as a spouse, it's hard to watch someone you love hit their rock bottom.
Right. Yeah.
That's why, like, if you can share this video with someone, just maybe the message will resonate with them before they have to hit rock bottom.
Right.
And I feel like to be the best spouse for her, I have to be the best version of me. And the best version of me is going to be me, a healthy version of me on the carnivore diet. That's how I'm going to be the best spouse to her, is just being by my healthiest version of me. And that's to me, that's super important. So I'm very grateful for the carnivore diet. I feel like making a better version of me makes a better version for my wife, better version for my son and the rest of my family and my neighbors and my community. When you give back, you got energy. I've been helping look for a little boy, Elijah Vu. My wife has been helping. Those are things we probably wouldn't have done pre-carnivore.
No, we had been too exhausted and not motivated, just being honest. Of course, we did the best that we could. You do the best that you can with the knowledge that you have. And then, once we found carnivore, like JT talks about, you get a different level of awareness and things change. Should we talk about William and how he found carnivore?
Yeah.
For us? So, a big change for us is just also having William on carnivore. And I think, just from seeing us do it, he has been more willing to do it. And we don't really have difficulty with him eating. He's a good eater. He does like summer sausage, but like we made those pizza pouches today that don't have crust. And he absolutely loves them. So we
have a video on our channel. It's a little carnivore pizza pocket. You can throw sausage, pepperoni, whatever in there. And, Dr. Chafee said even the cured meats, although they aren't the cleanest things to eat, he said that's better for an adult and a child to eat than Sour Patch Kids and a bag of Skittles.
Right.
So, pepperoni isn't the cleanest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Neither is some of the sausage, but like that's way better for you than a bag of Skittles.
Yes, yeah.
So like our son, he's not having all these sugar highs, and he doesn't get a bunch of diaper rash and stuff from
he used to
pooping
really
out all
bad.
those veggie packs.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, do not get your kids those veggie packs. They're gonna have the most raw skin on their ass.
Yeah.
Because that stuff, it's got something in there. The skin on your skin doesn't even like it. The insides, none of your body liked it, and we're feeding our kids that stuff.
Right. I think for a while, again, I don't know why. It happened to be after Dr. Chafee, I think, that we moved William to full carnivore. But before that, I was like, he can have some fruits. He can have some of this other stuff. I think, again, before...
Well, it's not going to kill him, but it will knock him out of ketosis if he has too much of it.
Right. And he loved, like, berries. That was, like,
not
his favorite
just one
thing.
Or two, 3 berries, though. He would want the whole
like, small
entire
container.
carton.
Yeah. And so I think we just... we phased all that stuff out. And for him, it was more gradual, I think, because again, I had some mental block that somehow, carnivore is good for me, but I'm worried about my kid. I think I still had questions in my mind, but now there's no question in my mind.
Yeah, Dr. Chafee, shout out to you, man. You really took care of that. And we have a video that's under our live streams.
Yeah.
Kids on Carnivore. It's on Dr. Chafee's channel as well under his live streams, Kids on Carnivore Diet. Look that up. And if you have any questions like in your mind about, well, is this healthy for my kids?
Right.
Is this healthy for my grandkids when they come over? If you're a grandparent, watch that video and share it with your spouse, your significant other. And that way you guys can have more peace about feeding your kids a carnivore diet. Because they're going to grow up happy, healthy, big, strong, and smart.
Yes.
And that's what we want for our kids.
Right. And I think, there was a little bit of period where he would get upset if he thought we had something that was sugary kind of, because we used to have all that stuff in the cabinet. But he worked through that, and he's better for it, I think, now. His mood is a lot better. He just is, he's so smart, and he's getting so much bigger, I feel like. So I just feel like he's really thriving. And I'm happy he's starting it when he was younger than 2, I believe. And now he's going to have that as long as we can help it. I think, at some point he can make that choice, but that'll be a whole nother conversation we would have with him, and I'm not going to necessarily force him when he gets old enough to choose, but I'm going to try to offer him those better choices. I really want him to feel good, and I think at that point that he could potentially change when he is a teenager or whatever, he can definitely tell the difference. You can tell the difference when you're on the American Standard Diet versus the Carnivore Diet. So.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. My entire life is completely different.
Yeah.
Like night and day difference. And I'm not trying to be cheesy or corny about that, but
it is, though.
It really is. Going from laying in the tub to having nightmares that you're gonna die there to helping my buddy heal humanity. My wife's thriving. I'm thriving. My son's thriving. My mom's on keto now. She's starting to thrive. My sister's on keto. So my family is starting to thrive, and it makes me just sing in my heart to know that they're a little bit healthier,
Yeah. And my answer on keto, and then my grandma is on keto too. I think I see a difference in them too, and they talk about how they feel better. So I think that's really, really good. And you know what? You don't know. I said this the other day. You don't know how your story is going to affect other people. One of my aunts had said that just from seeing my transformation and hearing from my aunt and my grandma about keto, she was willing to try it. You never know who you're going to impact. I didn't think any of my family was really going that route. But I think also something I want to mention is too, I started to have almost high blood pressure. It was in the 130s, and I can't remember what the bottom number was. Kind of ever since I had William, because then my blood pressure started to creep up in pregnancy. And then after, my blood sugar wasn't high before, but after my blood sugar was high, and it kind of stayed, it wasn't in, everything was borderline, which I'm grateful for. Like, I never had a condition like high blood pressure or high blood sugar, but it was in the pre-diabetic range. So I think, thinking about all those things, that's another reason, like, I really wanted to start carnivore. And I had apprehension at the time, like, is it going to raise my cholesterol? But my cholesterol is actually better than it was before I started carnivore. So, I think there's the reason more people are hesitant to start it in your life maybe is because they have this bad association of meat.
Right, meat's bad for you, and it's going to raise your heart attack.
It's going to raise your cholesterol. It's going to give you or a stroke. And so I just want to reassure you that none
of that's true.
It's not going to happen. My doctor says that I'm really healthy. I just saw her not too long ago, and so just realize that that's not necessarily a barrier. you know, you can have this diet, be healthy, healthier than you probably ever been, feeling better than you've ever been. And we've both witnessed that, you know.
Yeah, she's been checked by her doctor since being on Carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. I want to go in on around my 1 year marker on Carnivore. My Carniversary is June 21st. So around there, I'll schedule a 1 year checkup with my doctor to just see where I'm at, and we'll do an updated video on that. But make sure you send this video to another couple that you could probably help, you know. And if we answered any questions, awesome. If we didn't, put them in the comments. Let us know. We can answer them later. Like this video and subscribe to our channel because we do a lot more couples content. And the last thing I want to give you guys, I learned from my coach. He said that the most successful thing you could do in any relationship or marriage to make it big, to make it good, to make it successful for a very long time, to stay married and happy, it's one word he always said: courtesy. So make sure you share courtesy with your spouse, you know. So don't be using the bathroom in front of them, shut the door, you know, don't take the remote from them, don't turn the TV up when they're talking, you know, things like that, or answer the phone right in the middle of dinner. You know, just show a little bit of courtesy towards each other, because we wouldn't do that type of stuff if we were with a friend or a neighbor, or at work with a coworker, or a stranger even. Sometimes you wouldn't do that too. So courtesy, practice courtesy, and we hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm JT, and I appreciate you guys for watching.
And I'm Anna. I just really appreciate everybody's support. Honestly, it does help. You know, I was talking to Ali from Nourishment Redacted yesterday about this, you know, like when you're doing this diet and no one else in your family or your friend group is, you know, it can feel isolating. And so that's why having a YouTube channel, connecting with other people is really helpful. I really encourage you guys to, you know, if you don't have someone else in your life doing it, make sure you watch more videos, comment, get on some streams, get to know people, because Ellie and Jen, you know, are two pretty good friends of mine now. And I have other friends in this community, but you know, you never know what connections you're going to make with people. And so I do encourage you to find somebody in the community that, you know, you can connect with, and you know, you just have the diet in common too, and just having somebody who's doing that way of life really helps.
It helps.
You have that model kind of too, and that you kind of hold each other accountable then too.
Yeah, like when I was having pizza cravings, I texted Carrie. I'm like, Carrie, I need help. And he was like, JT, don't do it. Don't do it. He's like, we got raised the steaks on Friday. We've not raised the pizzas. I was like, all right, you're right, brother. I was like, hold strong. He's like, eat bacon, hold strong. So yeah, that does help. That's a great tip there. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you check out this video next right here.
Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go. Or EO.
EO.